I'm only believe on decisive because game changer player. He is only one guy, is Jasprit Bumrah. I thought this.
Welcome back to Two Wickets Down. India's ICC reign continues as they come out on top in another ICC final. Now, that is two back-to-back ICC tournament wins, and what a game it was, Vasu. What are your first reactions?
I mean, I'm over the moon first of all, and yeah, unbelievable game. Yeah, game worthy of a final there. I was hoping it would be a good game. Like, yeah, I didn't want a boring game. Like as India have been playing off, like India been winning comfortably in all the games. Well, I wanted India to win anyway, but I wanted to see a good game, and well, it was a fantastic game. So very
I mean,
happy.
yeah, and considering, I mean, one of the things I liked about just to go, like, because we had already played New Zealand in Dubai, I felt like it made the final a little more fair. It wasn't like New Zealand came blind into this game without ever been playing on this pitch. And the
Hmm.
pitch was very similar to, I think, the Australia game, where I think New Zealand were a bit short on runs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing. I think New Zealand kind of knew what I mean, New Zealand actually knew what to expect. So they were more prepared this time, whereas the first time, if you like in the league game, New Zealand lost pretty comfortably. Like India won pretty comfortably there. But this time, New Zealand knew what to expect, and so they were more like they were well prepared, so they knew like what was coming there.
Yeah.
And
And what do you make of now that is after the horrific two defeats in the ICC Test Championship finals, the ODI World Cup in 2023, which never happened, obviously, and and now considering what ha last summer T20 champions, another Champions Trophy, India's kind of starting to figure out how to play finals now a little more.
yeah, I mean the finals, yeah, they're kind of getting over that next hurdle there of actually playing well in the finals. That's getting over that over like getting over the last bit and getting over in the finals. So, well, like the signs look good. Hopefully this keeps continuing there.
Yeah, and couldn't I
Yeah.
mean, and it's so funny how things change, right? I mean, let's look at Indian cricket since the T20 World Cup, right? We
Hmm.
get Rahul Dravid retires, we get Gautam Gambhir, we play New Zealand comes to India, and we get whitewashed, and everything looks like horrible. We think we're gonna go to Australia. We have a good record in Australia for in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. We get absolutely our asses whooped there, and it looks literally pretty much really bad for India. And on top of that, Jasprit Bumrah gets injured at the end of the Australian tour. Everyone kind of has a fear that he won't be played in the Champions Trophy. There's no Mohammad Siraj, and it we kind of went from literally like coming into this tournament. I know it's ODI, but like in terms of team morale, a lot of these people who are in the ODI team, some of them are also in the test team. And we've come off this really bad like last few months in international cricket to come out here and pull out this result. And I think all credit has to be for England for those easy games before the tournament. It's like, when you play like shit teams just to get your confidence. I feel like that's what we did with England. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, shout out to the Barmy Army there for that. That was a great, great,
So
great.
yeah, I mean, so I mean, what I understand. I mean, after the New Zealand series and after the Australian series, there was lots of calls for there was a lots of calls for people to get like for people to like retire and leave, like especially with Gambhir saying that, oh, he's not a good enough coach, and asking for a lot of the senior players to like it's time for them to move on. And I can understand where people were coming from, and then a lot of people were just like it was just like it was just the people were just being like really like it was just a reaction, were just quick reactions saying, oh, because it was like, it's just people, it was just losses that people couldn't like understand, especially like the New Zealand series, like losing to New Zealand 3-0 at home. I
Yeah,
was like, I think nobody expected that. So I think that was just people were just like thrown away by that there. How could they
and I
lose to New
wonder if
Zealand
this
3-0?
gives and going looking even forward for India, I think this is a good sign of like at least confidence for a lot of these players who will be traveling to England in the summer for that test series.
So,
And yeah, I'm not saying like I mean like beating England in a test match is like near impossible in it like over a 5 game series, but at least this gives us confidence at the international stage to go and like put our best foot forward again, which I feel like we kind of struggled since the T20 World Cup because of those two big series losses. Um, so
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, good signs for India, and I'm hopefully this gives Gambhir and his like team, the backroom staff at least confidence of like that like the carrying the mantle of Rahul Dravid's team that he left.
yeah, so after the New Zealand series and the Australian series, like the manner in which they lost in, I mean, like they were like him, Gambhir and his coaching staff, they were under a lot of pressure. I mean, like I mean, they they must have been under a lot of pressure. Like that's, I mean, there's no denying that. But I mean, but this win, but the Champions Trophy win, I'd say does give him a lot of confidence, and the board does. Well, I mean, he would give him a lot of confidence knowing forward that yes, there he's time. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that now going to England to play the Test series, I think will now again say that is he well like we'll know that how good of a coach he is in red ball cricket there, because for
Yeah, and
white
I'm
ball
also
cricket.
wondering, do we focus back down? Yes, we've had a great Champions Trophy, and I know like we'll get back to that topic, but I wonder if this whole like reactionary thing we had after the Border Gavaskar Trophy about like Ranji Trophy. I wonder after the IPL, like do some of these big names take a few weeks off and then play a few Ranji Trophy games, or
I
even go out to England and like get some practice in before we play England in England, which I think is probably the hardest team to beat at home, be it playing England in their conditions.
I I think there was a thing that the BCCI have said that players do have to take some time out during the IPL to play to play local cricket there.
I mean, if BCC, there's no way that's true. There's no way BCC are gonna get Kohli to play for Delhi while RCB. That's not happening. Jay Shah
I'm
won
not.
it.
I think, but I'm not sure if but I'm not. I don't think like
I
IPL
mean,
franchises are gonna let that happen
and then
anymore.
looking back to let's focusing back on the Champions Trophy. One thing I liked about India, and kind of very similar to the T20 World Cup, we weren't scared to chop and change stuff. I mean, you think about Arshdeep Singh being in the team since the first few games, right? Doesn't play after Varun gets in the team. You look about Harshit Rana being in the team, does it? And I know a lot of people think Harshit Rana is like been in the team because of Gambhir, but like I'm glad like we played the best team that we knew. Like after that New Zealand game, we knew we want to play with four spinners, and we stuck to it. And we trusted our spinners, right? Like we trusted like the spinners who weren't having good tournaments. You look at like Kuldeep Yadav, let's be very honest, didn't have a great tournament, right? By his standards compared to what he did like in the last few big tournaments. And then he comes in today and I think pretty much turns the game on its head today with those two quick wickets.
Yeah, and as you said about Arshdeep Singh, I don't think Arshdeep Singh played a single game in the whole tournament. It was
Did he not
Harshit
play?
Rana.
Did he
No,
not play in the
he didn't play a
first two?
single game the whole tournament. No, Harshit Rana played the first two games,
Oh, I think I
and
must have
then
got
they,
mixed up by
yeah, and then
the
they,
way he was celebrating felt like he played
yeah.
like
I
the
mean,
whole tournament.
why not? Why not?
Yeah, no, why not? But just felt like the celebrations
Why
were.
not? Why
Uh,
not? You go out there.
let me check the Bangladesh game.
No, it didn't play a
Mohammad
single
Shami. Yeah,
game.
yeah, Harshit Rana in the first game. Yeah.
First two games, it was Harshit Rana played the first two games, and then they changed it to Varun Chakraborty, and then
I
after
mean,
that,
it's like one of those like I mean, look at that call for it though. Like Arshdeep Singh, probably the best T20 bowler, doesn't get a look in this whole tournament. But I'm assuming I think he'll be on the plane to England in the summer. I think Arshdeep Singh.
they keep saying it that oh they're going to play him in that he should be playing red ball cricket, but I don't think
I mean,
they consider him enough.
I'm trying to think about our fast bowling, right? For that tournament, for our red, our. I mean, let's continue with the spin, and then we'll come back to the fast bowling in a minute because I think India do have some genuine concerns there for the future and even now. Yeah, four spinners, 38 overs of spin in this tournament, in this what do you call, in this final, and I mean, I look at Kuldeep Yadav, so like let's say mediocre throughout the tournament, nothing really too great. Didn't get really belted. He didn't get hit too much,
Hmm.
obviously, but just nothing great. And then in the final, when New Zealand get off to a great start with Will Young and Rachin Ravindra, and then Kuldeep Yadav gets Williamson a few overs later, and then just turns up in the final like when you need him the most. When Shami, when Pandya were getting smacked around the park, he comes in so clutch. And I think I look at like where he was a couple of years ago to now being like probably your best spinner in the team in terms of like overall.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought it was great captaincy by Rohit because Kuldeep that doesn't usually bowl the first over after after the power play ends. He usually comes in after around like the 18th, 19th, or maybe around the 22nd over there, somewhere around that. But they just brought him on as soon as the power play finished, and I think somehow maybe I think that might have just caught them off guard there because they weren't expecting that to happen all of a
I'm
sudden
just trying to
because.
quickly trace back. Who came in first? Was it Kuldeep or was it Varun came in to bowl first? I'm trying to
Yeah, no,
think.
like no, Varun did come in. I mean, during the power play, but what I'm saying is that after, as soon as the power play finished, Kuldeep came in to bowl, which he never does there. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
which he never does.
No, I
And
agree. Yeah,
and
I would say
I thought it was
Rohit Sharma's captaincy throughout the final was really good. Kept chopping and changing
yeah,
the combinations of the fast bowlers,
yeah, and
and
then
I think something I saw in commentary that they spotted out. He pretty much kept on a wrist spinner from one end the whole 40
yeah, and then
38 overs of spin. There was one wrist spinner from one end the whole time.
what he did well as well, and what he did do well as too is that as soon as a new batsman came in, he brought on Varun Chakravarti he brought on Varun Chakravarti, so like the mystery spinner. So
Yeah,
yeah, so which he kept doing really well. So I mean, his captaincy was brilliant the whole game.
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Looking at New Zealand innings a little bit, I mean, I mean, to be very honest, I felt like the two best innings I saw was probably of Rutchin and Bracewell, but Williamson, simple cotton ball to Kuldeep Yadav. Will Young didn't get off going. Um, I've had a few knocks and nibbles in the middle order, the lower middle order for New Zealand was the only thing that kind of put up a little bit of fight. But I think Daryl Mitchell, this has been the big topic for New Zealand, made 63 off 101 balls in a final, and sort of an odd innings. Like you can see where he was coming from, what he was trying to do by holding one end down, but I think he really just like didn't do enough in terms of like keeping the singles, keeping the game flowing a little bit, and it just built on more pressure for New Zealand.
I mean, I kind of yes and no because I think he had to bunker down one end because I think they needed someone to just stay on until the end. And it's just that when the time came, and because when he saw Bracewell was starting to get going, he just I think he also started like hitting the runs. I think before he got out, two balls between before that he hit Shami for two fours in a row. And then because he started decided like, okay, it's time for me to like start hitting the runs as well. And then he hit Shami for two boundaries in a row as well, and then he got out there. So I think he did realize that I think he was trying to work out that okay, I'm gonna take it this far and then I'm gonna go there. But unfortunately,
But I think
there
him taking it that far was more of like I'm just gonna play dot balls and get me that far rather than
yeah, I
actually
think
like
yeah.
keeping the singles going. And it would have made Rohit Sharma do something a little different because we bowled 38 overs of spin and it never felt like Rohit Sharma had to like really think with Darryl Mitchell too much. I know he obviously 63 in a final is really good, but like it just felt like we were happy with like long as Darryl Mitchell wasn't like firing. I think it felt like it to some extent we were okay with him letting the pressure build and hoping on the other and we kept taking wickets on the other end.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, he could have taken I mean, like the rotation of strike could have been a bit better, but I don't blame him because but I could you couldn't pick because the wickets on the other end kept like falling. Him and Latham had tried to put up a decent partnership, and all of a sudden Latham fell, so he had to kind of go down.
And then him and
I
Glenn
can't be,
Phillips kind of like slowed
and
down the
then
game a little
yeah, slowed
bit.
down. But the thing is, Glenn Phillips is not the sort of a batsman who's gonna bat play a long innings because he's a sort of a batsman
I
who's
mean, it's
just gonna
funny
come
because
in
he
there.
he played really slow. He played 34 of 52. He played really
Yeah,
slow in the final, considering
yeah,
his usual play style. And then Bracewell comes in, and I think this was the hope that gave New Zealand a hope for that they could actually have they had something on the board to defend that. Like 251 in a final, it's a final. You never know. There's a lot. It's a high pressure game, and it kind of gave New Zealand a target to defend that. And his innings was good. I think his innings was the only innings that kind of made Rohit Sharma like to force India to make a few errors in terms of like bowling at who had bowled at what time. You know what if you know
yeah,
what I mean?
and the reason why he was able to make those runs is because he was batting in the last 5 to 6 overs there, and then it was the fast bowlers who were bowling there.
Yeah, I think
So
because
yeah,
he also was hitting the spinners a little bit, Bracewell,
yeah,
it made Rohit Sharma go back to Shami, and I think Shami obviously, I mean, both
yeah.
Shami and Pandya didn't bowl exceptionally
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So it was the fast bowlers he was able to hit because because New Zealand needed the fast bowlers there to bowl, and which he was able to hit
It's funny because
no
he didn't
problem
bring
there.
on. He had two more overs of Akshar Patel. He didn't bring on, which was interesting move in terms of like just not bowling out Akshar, especially when you know your spinners were like kind of containing the runs. Um, and then so New Zealand made 251 for seven in the batting first. As we forgot to point out, Rohit Sharma lost another toss. No surprise there.
No,
Might as well just get the other
I think
captain.
I think at this point they just might probably flip the coin and Rohit Sharma just walk away and say, yeah, do whatever you
Someone,
want.
someone, someone said he needs to like actually check if the coin's not like double-sided or
I did.
something at this
Yeah.
point. India's innings, I mean, this was probably the best possible start you could ask for from India's point of view. You had an opening 100-run partnership from our openers, and I mean, Rohit Sharma got off to the best start I think I've seen him get off in a very, very long time. Um, like 76 off 83. Towards the end, he kind of slowed down a little bit, which and he ended up getting out, trying to hit one out deep. But that power play by him and Shubman Gill was just fantastic.
Yeah, so yeah, and they took it for like 105 there. Yeah, the power play was amazing there. Yeah. So like they were just like I think like if you look at it there now in the long run, they just almost finished the game in the power play there. But if you're looking at it, seeing that if the team is facing if a team is chasing 251 and you look at that power play, I mean it looks like the game's finished there in the power play. But it's just but all of a sudden Glenn Phillips takes that catch. It's unbelievable again,
But
where he just
honestly, I know like he has probably taken every like so many good catches, but I think the one of Shubman Gill was probably the best catch of the tournament. I'm genuinely not saying that. Like it was so good. The
but
catch to
then
Shubman Gill, like the hang time he got. And then suddenly the game's on a little bit. Like
yeah, the
game's
game's
on
on, and
and
then
Kohli
Kohli
comes
gets
in,
out.
Kohli comes in, and then I think this is the first time you see a good hint of spin off the pitch, right? Like the ball
Hmm.
that Kohli gets. Like it obviously he doesn't pick up on he doesn't read it well, but it
Hmm.
spins a little more than I think he expects, and then gets LBW, takes it upstairs. India lose a review, and then suddenly your one of your main anchors goes down in a final, and then I think it's like 5 6 over later, Rohit Sharma gets out, and suddenly the game's on.
Yeah, because I think as soon as Kohli gets out, I think as soon as Kohli gets out, a lot of pressure starts to build. And New Zealand actually, from then on, New Zealand actually bowled really well. Like their spinners actually start to bowl really well there at that time.
And I think
Uh,
I'll say, and then Rohit Sharma gets out pretty quick after that, and
yeah, because I
credit to
think
New Zealand because of like slowing down the runs. I think there was an over of like 3 overs or 2 overs where India didn't hit a boundary. Kind of felt
yeah,
like the pressure was building up. Rohit Sharma tries to release the pressure,
and then gets
gets caught,
stomped there.
Get
Yeah,
stubs coming out.
yeah, and then I think Rachin Ravindra bowled it really well. He saw Rohit and he just like bowled it.
Yeah,
What?
it's so
Yeah, he
funny because I
bowled.
think he made one really good move as a bowler, and that was the stumping. But I think overall, I think um you could see a bit of the New Zealand inexperience with some of their bowlers, like in the final. Like sometimes they lost a bit of their line and length, but then after the Rohit Sharma, after the Kohli wicket, they really tightened everything up a little bit.
Yeah, I think their
The
fast bowlers
singles.
were just. Were-
Yeah, the singles got stopped, and everything was kind of going well for New Zealand. And then I think for me, this was the match-winning partnership in my opinion that saved India was the Iyer and Akshar Patel partnership. I know Akshar Patel only made 29, but I think they just kind of took the stung out of they just took the sting out of the game from New
Yeah,
Zealand. Like Rohit Sharma got out at 122, and then the next wicket that fell was 183. Those like
yeah.
60 odd runs just kind of really just took the sting out
Sting out
from.
of yeah, yeah. They did yeah, but
Uh,
exactly. And then even all of that there, yeah. I
and I
think
think Kyle Jameson dropped catch.
Kyle Jamieson dropped the catch. Their fast bowling was pretty weak. I mean, they had Nathan Smith who came in for Matt Henry, who New Zealand like really missed there. He's probably their best. He was their best bowler at this tournament. I think he's the highest. I think he's the highest wicket taker in the tournament.
Yeah,
They
I think
really
he
missed
is.
him, and then he actually really troubled India in the league game. I think he took like 2 wickets, uh, in the first game when India played New Zealand. He got like Rohit Sharma and I think Gill or Kohli out. So yeah, but yeah, they really missed him, and yeah, so their fast bowling was missed, and yeah, their fielding was actually
I was
not
gonna
that
say from New Zealand, one of the disappointing points from their point of view was they dropped some tough catches, but you expect
yeah.
honestly New Zealand to take them. They dropped a sitter, Kyle Jameson dropped an absolute sitter off. I can't remember who he dropped again, but he was towards the boundary. He got there
Hmm.
in time. Absolute lollipop, dropped it, and some of the ground fielding too a little bit. They had some misfields, and it just felt like you kind of felt like I don't know, maybe it was the pressure of the final again from New Zealand. It just felt like they were letting it slip. And then
Yeah,
Gail
some of their
Rowell,
they had a couple of drop catches. I did just I mean like the drop I mean from New Zealand's point of view, you would definitely call it a drop. Shubman Gill in the power play where Daryl Mitchell jumps up and he kind of just I mean those ones you'd expect New Zealand to definitely take. It's the same as like the Rohit Sharma one. Do you
yeah,
remember Rohit Sharma? Yeah, it's the one Daryl Mitchell. You definitely expect him to take it there. You almost got his like hand to it there. Yeah, their fielding wasn't up to par in that as you would expect New Zealand for it to be there.
no, not really.
No.
And then looking at and then obviously Gail Rowell comes in, and I mean credit to the man. He played pretty much a perfect innings, really
Hmm.
controlled, never panicked. I think everyone around him, India's. I saw what the Indian middle order was trying to do. They were trying to hit some big shots, just completely kill the game, and a lot of them got out trying to do that. But KL just stuck on the one end, didn't do anything, just played singles, hit only
Hmm.
two boundaries in his 34, and just cruised India to a pretty nice, comfortable win. And considering like his ODI 2023 World Cup final and to where he is now, I think credit to KL Rahul. I think he played a really good 34.
Yeah, the ODI final, the amount of hate he received in that final.
I mean, you say
For,
that. I mean, like, I mean, honestly, all it'll take him for him to get out at zero in England, and the people will be back to reactionary things. But
no, but I know I'm
This Indian middle order right now, I honestly will say it looks good as it's ever looked with. And I think one thing I'll say, I know we glanced over his innings, but Shreyas Iyer probably, in my opinion, was my player of the tournament. In my opinion, because I think there wasn't a game where he didn't deliver. He delivered every
ye-
single game.
yeah, you
Um,
can make an argument for that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he was. I know Kohli gets a lot of the credit, big hundreds, obviously, look who he is. But like Iyer is the absolute backbone of this batting order, and he was so good. Again, 48, 62, just really good innings, and like Akshar Patel 29, KL Rahul 34, Hardik Pandya 18. Everyone just chipped in and just got us over the line. And then obviously Jadeja with winning runs. And yeah, another ICC
Hmm.
tournament in the back for India.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was a
No,
really good game, worthy of a final.
no,
New
exactly.
Zealand,
Yeah.
and I mean, considering it was 251 to defend, New Zealand really did bring themselves back into the game.
Yeah, they did.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is, you don't need a high scoring total. You just need to make the other team feel a bit of pressure in a final. And India really felt it. And I mean, no Kane Williamson in the second innings too. He wasn't on the
Yeah.
pitch. So yeah, New Zealand just looked a little bit off their game when they came to bowl, I think, in some as not like throughout the whole game, but I thought aspects of the game New Zealand were a little off their mark a little bit. Whether it was
Yeah,
the
up to the
fielding,
yeah. No, you're
whether it was,
correct. You're correct. Yeah.
whether it was the fielding at points, whether it was not bringing on spinners too early to Rohit Sharma when they were smacking the fast bowlers, like Rohit Sharma did when New Zealand were batting. I just felt like New Zealand just something was off a little yesterday, and I think
I
credit to India, they capitalized on it.
I think they're they don't. I think like it's just their spinner. I mean, sorry, not their spinners. It's just their fast bowlers. Fast bowling was too poor. I think that's where a lot of the game might have been decided there as well. But because their spinners, yes, obviously, like the Indian spinners and New Zealand spinners, yeah, there is a big difference there. But if you look at the numbers, it's not far off there. Yeah, if it's not far off, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
But
say.
but it's the fast bowling, yeah.
Our fast bowlers weren't great either. So I was just
Yeah.
wondering, maybe did Santner give too much overs to the fast bowlers? Like just like small things like that. Like, did he give too much
Yeah,
overs to the fast
yeah,
bowlers?
exactly there. Yeah, exactly. Look,
Like,
Kyle Jamieson bowled 5 overs, and Will O'Rourke and bowled 7. Right, and Nathan Smith bowled 2. Whereas we only had two fast bowler,
it was
Mohammad
like
Shami
you
and
look at that
Hardik
bowling
Pandya.
card for New Zealand, and you wonder, do you give more overs to Glenn Phillips, maybe? And obviously, hindsight 2020, he did get hit, Glenn Phillips, but just wondering on this pitch,
Yeah,
especially one thing. I mean, and credit to our batsmen. We batted on a much harder pitch than New Zealand did.
yeah,
And it was visibly, you could see how much the ball was spinning in the second innings. And I think just New Zealand just,
yeah.
to be fair, like
They
it
should have. I
kind
mean,
of like the story for New Zealand in like knockout games, just not not
I
enough
mean, he
firepower.
yeah, he could have bowled Glenn Phillips a bit more in the middle overs there, seeing as how like the pitch was turning. But I mean, like you have to give it to Santner as well. It's the first time he's captaining in New Zealand in such a big tournament. So, but I think he did it. But I think he did a I think he did a really good job as well
Yeah,
as a
that's what I'm
first
just
time
wondering.
captain.
I
Yeah,
was wondering, like, that's what I was trying to talk about. Like, you see Rohit Sharma when he's captaining, you have like, I don't know, let's just say goalie will come up to him, right?
yeah.
KL Rahul. I wonder if Stanton was missing Williamson on the pitch.
Williamson, yeah, it did, yeah, and then even Creek Buzz wrote about it there. Yeah, they did mention it, like when India's innings was about to start, that Williamson won't be out on the pitch because he's got a quad strain. And you do look at it there when India got off to a great start, and after the first power play, had sorry, after the
Williamson
first and
came out
after
into the hurdle.
yeah, at drinks there, yeah, and then I think after like 2 3 overs after that, they obviously Glenn Phillips took that catch, and then New Zealand completely turned the game around there.
Yeah, and I think it's just more of like,
Yeah, you need
I
that
mean,
experience. Yeah.
I mean, for better or worse, maybe Rohit Sharma absolutely hates the sight of him on the field, but like Kohli never stops chirping in his ear every time
Yeah.
the camera cuts to him. But I just wonder if like you have someone else on the pitch you bounce ideas off, like, right? Like I was
Yeah,
talking to someone like who's been there, right? Like, I mean, I know Rohit Sharma is absolutely a great white ball captain, but like
mhm.
obviously Kohli was a captain before. You have KL Rahul, you have Iyer who've captain sides too. Like you just have people you're bouncing ideas off. Where Satner felt like he felt a bit. I felt like he was a bit isolated.
Yeah, I
When
mean the only person he has in there, like Santner only had like Tom Latham, who's the captain of the test team there. But yeah, I mean he needed to have someone like Williamson, who has captained New Zealand before in the World Cups, and he's captained New Zealand in the final there.
yeah, and he's captain New
So
Zealand against India in the Test Championship final, and they won.
yeah, and he captained New Zealand, and he captained against them in the semi-final there as well in England there,
Yeah,
which they won also. So yeah, I mean he needed someone like, I mean, he was brilliant the whole tournament. His captaincy was amazing, and even in this match, it was amazing. But he just needed that someone extra there, just to help him out there.
Yeah,
But
especially when you're
uh,
like kind of out of ideas a little bit, right?
yeah,
Like you
I
obviously
think.
know you obviously know Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma are off to a good start. You just need something to um
Yeah,
break
I
that
mean that.
stand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, Glenn Phillips, they could have bowled him like three or four, like at least 2 or 3 overs extra in the middle overs when the ball was when the ball was turning there. And Glenn Phillips is not. I mean, he's a decent bowler. Like he's actually a good. He's actually improved his bowling. He's improved his spin bowling. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it does show it's like six overs. I mean, but if you look at the other, I mean, if you look at the other fast bowlers like Will O'Rourke went for eight and over there. So,
Yeah, he
I
was
mean,
quite poor.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's it. What an end to a pretty, I would say,
I think
weird tournament overall in terms
I
of like
enjoyed it there.
I mean I enjoyed it obviously because India won, and overall there was some good upsets, but just the whole tournament itself was kind of a bit all over
Yeah,
the place, to be honest. Some
some decent
interesting,
games in there.
some
Yeah,
decent games, some easy games. And what we got IPL coming in 12 days. So
12 days time. Yeah,
yeah, 12 days time. KKR versus RCB. As the opener, will it be? Is it the year? Is it the year for
is it the
RCB? Is it the year for RCB? All batting, no bowling. Let's see.
no batting, no bowling?
Will it pay off for the how many seasons is this? Like the 17th, 18th season? I
I
forget.
don't know. Almost what 13th foot? No, it's a
Feels like a century. Feels like a century from an
yeah,
RCB fan point of view. I'll tell you that. But
yeah,
we'll be back in 12 days.
yeah. 12 days time.
Maybe do a pre-IPL kind of kickoff. Kind of give
Pre
a
IPL kind of kickoff. Yeah, we might keep doing some IPL updates as well.
Yeah, maybe end of every week we do like a recap of that week of the
Yeah.
IPL or something like that because there's too many
hmm
games going on every day.
Yeah, there's a game every day. Sometimes there's two games during the
On
weekend.
the
So
Sundays,
during the
yeah.
week, yeah. So yeah, I mean, so Bumrah's out, not out of the IPL, but Bumrah's out for like the first week
Keep
or
him out.
so,
Keep
first
him
two
out.
weeks.
Give him the rest. Give him the rest. No, I'm genuinely saying this. Give him the rest. I'll
Yeah.
give him every time. As much as like Rohit Sharma should know this because he's gonna lead the side. He's still test captain, Rohit Sharma, right? Yeah, he's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
lead.
yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna lead the side in England. I think he knows more than anyone the value of having a fit Jasprit Bumrah. So, and he's the Mumbai captain. I mean, not the Mumbai captain. Sorry, a touchy subject. Pandya. He should tell Pandya not to use Jasprit Bumrah too much. But yeah,
Because we all believe in Justify.
we all believe in Justifier, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is it.